Hi everyone, my name is Maddie, welcome back to my channel and welcome to this video where I'm going to be testing, do I love all Tor novellas? So obviously I'm not going to read every single Tor novella there is. There are so many, I would probably guess there's like at least 50 if not more. I've just seen lots of photos recently on Tor's Instagram of like huge stacks of these things. There are so many. But over the years, I have read quite a few and have loved almost every single one I've read. To be honest, I've loved almost every single book I've read from Tor, with a very few exceptions. So overall, I know I like Tor novellas. I've loved so many of them. I always think they're so interesting. I love the short format. But we're gonna test it. I have a lot of Tor novellas. I've put some on my wish list. I have bought some. And I have 8 Tor novellas, I have 7 here, and I have 1 e-arc of another Tor novella. And I'm going to, over the next week, read as many of these as I can and test, do I like them all? So I will very quickly run through this stack. I'm not going to give full synopses like right now because I'll give a synopsis as I read each one. But just to let you know which ones I've got, I wanted to have a variety of backlist, new release, and then obviously the one arc I have, so a bit of a mixture. So as I was talking about wanting some backlist and some more recent, we're going to go through these in release date order, starting with Murderbot by Martha Wells. This did come out in 2017. That is the oldest I have. I apologise, I know it's not that old, but it's as backlist as we've got. This is the first book in a series. It comes very highly recommended. I know a lot of people who love this series, so I'm very, very optimistic about it. Next, released in 2018, I have The Black God's Drums by P. Djeli Clark. I don't know if this is standalone or series. I think it's a standalone though, but I'm really intrigued by this one. It sounds like a really interesting kind of urban fantasy concept. Next, we have Silver in the Wood by Emily Tesh. Again, I think this might have a companion that came out to it. I seem to vaguely remember, but I don't know if it was directly a companion or if it's just a book by the same author. This came out in 2019. I think almost all of these are queer as well, I'm just realising. I'm not sure Black God's Drums is queer, but I think all the others might be. I don't know. I then have 2 2020 releases. I have The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Guy Vaux, and I have The Factory Witches of Lowell by C.S. Malarick. So really excited by both of these. Very different concepts, very intrigued by both. I then have 2 2021 releases. I have Fireheart Tiger by Aliette de Bodard, and I have Across the Green Grass Fields by Shauna Maguire. This is book 6 in the Wayward Children series, so this is definitely part of a series. All the rest of these, even if they are part of a series, will be the first book. And then the one other I have, which obviously I don't have a physical copy of, I have an e-arc, is A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. I'll put the cover up here, stunning cover. So that is the other one I have, which is also a 2021 release, but it's not out yet. I think it comes out in a few months, maybe June, July. I will check, I'll put the release date on the screen here because I should know it. So that's the plan. I'm hoping to do this in a week, which normally I'd say 7, 8 books in a week. What am I doing? But you know, they're novellas. I can normally read 100 to 200 pages in a day. Obviously novellas are quite intense to read because you're getting a lot of world building and stuff in a very short span. But I'm hopeful I can do it, and I do also think I could do like 2 a day at the weekend if I needed to catch up. But anyway, just, I guess to kick us off though, I have started the first book. I was going to wait until I'd started this video, but I finished my previous book last night and I wanted something to read before I went to sleep. So I started Across the Green Grass Fields. Easy one to start with. I'm a huge fan of the Wayward Children series by Shauna Maguire, and as I said, this is book 6. So I'm very optimistic that I'll like this. I'm currently 50 pages in, I think, so I'm not that far. Yeah, 52 pages, which I say is not that far. It's a quarter of the book because it's a novella. Loving it so far. This follows Reagan, who is intersex and has always loved horses, and basically it's following her going off to her portal fantasy world, and I don't know what that's going to be like yet. I know it has horses in it though, mystical horses like centaurs and what they're called, kelpies, things like that. So very intrigued. This is where we're starting. I'm excited. This week is going to be interesting, wish me luck, but I guess let's test this theory. How many of these by the end of the week are going to be 5 stars? So I realised in the previous clip I just sort of like was introducing the video, so I thought I'd just like get through it, talk through all the books, but I thought I'd just sort of very quickly do a quick little talking bit. Don't know why I'm holding up the book, I wasn't going to talk about the book yet. So it is a Monday, hence starting this vlog. actually starting on a Monday, hooray. And it's been a tough day. It was my first day back at work after my sick leave from my surgery. So it's definitely been tough because due to the nature of my work, things move really, really fast. And so I knew a lot was going to have changed. I did catch up with a team member last Friday to just like catch me up a bit with what was going on. But like there's new members of my team who I've never spoken to. There's new like people in the client that we're speaking to who I've never spoken to. And a lot has changed and it's now on a really tight deadline. So I've come back into like go. Things need doing by Wednesday, things need doing by Friday. Let's get this done. And that's fine. But I really struggled. I have not been waking up too late the last couple weeks, but my sleep schedule's been a bit weird in that I still wake up naturally at 8 a.m. every day. I start work at 7:30, so normally I'm up at 6:30 because I have a commute, but this week I'm working from home, so I don't get up as early. So I was thinking, oh, it's only like an hour earlier, I'll be fine. I found it impossible this morning because I think even though I've been waking up at 8 or whatever every day, sometimes I go back to sleep till like 10, but even if I have been waking up, I don't do anything useful till like midday. And yeah, brain fog was real today. I really struggled to focus. I really struggled to work. But you know, it kept going. And then suddenly around 3 p.m, my brain kicked in and I was like, right. And I got more done in the last few hours of the day than I'd done all day. But now I feel like I'm back on top of it. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing first thing tomorrow to get shit done. So I feel much more confident, which is good. You don't need a whole recitation of my day, but I have decided this evening, have a nice relaxing evening. I'm reading a book that I'm loving, and then I'll be picking up another book I'll probably love once I finish this one, which I'm sure I'll finish soon. Like, I can't imagine I won't finish this today. And so I've got myself a glass of like a rosé spritzer. I have these 2 cans that have been in my fridge for forever, and I say that I've only lived here a couple months, but they've been in the fridge at home for years. A porn star martini and a rosé spritzer. I brought them with me and I finally was like, you know what, I want my martini. Opened it, thought it smelled a bit weird, tasted it a bit weird, looked, it expired 2 years ago. So that got poured straight down the sink and we've gone with the rosé spritzer, which I'm now drinking, which I'm really enjoying. I'm not a big alcohol person, but I want to feel fancy, I want to feel like relaxed. And then in about an hour, I think, yeah, in about an hour, Gav is starting some like chill sprints on his channel, so I'll tune into those. I don't know how much of it I'll watch because although I really enjoy them, he chats for a really long time between reading and I really want to get my book done. So I'm going to read for an hour now. It's like an hour sprint before they start and see how much I can get done. Because I do then also need to make dinner in those sprints. Not doing anything fancy. I just went down to Co-op and got myself some like pre-made garlic breads, which I'm going to shove in the oven and eat. It's literally all I'm having for dinner and I don't care. It's one of those days. So I guess that's what I need to tell you about. I'm having rosé. I'm gonna watch Gav and chill. I'm gonna eat garlic bread. If that doesn't sound like a good evening, I don't know what does. Also, the other thing I'm really keen to do this week, other than, you know, edit videos and get videos up and do Patreon sprints and all of this, the other thing I'm super keen to do is to draw up my journal pages for March and actually fill in my February ones, because I've not updated it since the 10th of February, which is ridiculous, quite frankly. So I'm keen to do that, and I'm thinking if I finish this early enough, I might do it today, and I'm going to watch High School Musical 3 whilst I do it, because I've watched High School Musical 1 and High School Musical 2 recently, and I want to watch High School Musical 3, so I'm going to watch that whilst I do it. So if I have time to do all of that tonight, that would be like the perfect relaxing evening. So we'll see how it goes. This was a long update for nothing useful about a book, because I've not read anything since I last spoke to you. I will catch you in a bit when hopefully I've read quite a chunk. I do think with these being novellas, there's a good chance I might kind of do updates when I start and then when I end, because if they're only 100 pages, I may not have much of value to say in the middle, because Greengrass Fields is 200 pages, but like Empress of Salt and Fortune is only 100, Fireheart Tiger is only 100. I think Murderbot's like 150. Yeah, I think a few of them are 150. Let's see actually. So yeah, I don't know exactly how long Psalm for the Wild Quilt is because it's on ebook, but we have like 100, 105, 110, like 120, 130, 140. So there may well not be midway updates for any of these. I find it really satisfying looking at my whole week's reading in one hand. So if I do get through all of these, 800 pages in a week, thrilled. I need to shut up. Why am I still talking? I will catch you all later. Okay, I'm back again. It's literally been 30 seconds, but I remembered something I wanted to say about this book at the point I'm currently at. So I'm at page 52. We've just gone into part 2, which is normally where they find the door. in these kind of books. So my thing with this, which I'm finding really interesting, is obviously I'm really intrigued to see what is through in this world. I'm really intrigued to see what happens in the rest of the book, etc, etc. I would have loved to just have the rest of this contemporary story about an intersex girl and like the freaking politics of teenagers in school and like young-ish kids in school. Honestly, it's been fascinating. And I just want that book because I think one of the benefits of this being written for older YA/adult, technically adult because it's Tor, the massive crossover appeal, one of the benefits of that is you can focus on a 10-year-old character in a really dark way, almost, in a really realistic way, instead of making it accessible to a 10-year-old reader. So like the realities and the harshness of how some people act in school and how manipulative and awful they are, I love it. Oh my god, the mean girl being portrayed realistically is just my life. I love it so much. I say my life as if like I was the mean girl. No, it's just I live for it. It was really fascinating, and also the intersex character. So yes, I'm intrigued to continue this one, but I kind of just wish it was a contemporary story about that because I want to read that. So if anyone knows of any stories about any age school, but possibly any age school with a really genuinely interesting take on like the politics of school and the stresses that is, not like bitchy mean girl cheerleader, like can't be doing with that, but genuinely like how impactful it can be on young people, this mentality that you have to follow the crowd because otherwise you're going to be ostracized. If anyone knows any books about that or any books about intersex people, please shout me because I want to read them. Thank you. I'm going to carry on now. Hello, so it is later on Monday evening. Horrifically bad lighting, I apologise. I've got my, turn you around, my big, you can't even see it, my big lamp there that does not provide good light. It's bright orange, and I also have a blue laptop screen, so my camera's doing the best it can with this. So, update. I just finished Across the Green Grass Fields by Sean Maguire. I loved it. I don't know what I'm rating it yet. I'm having a really hard time rating books at the moment. I don't know why. Like, literally the last 3 books I've read, I don't know what to rate. It's a 4 or a 5. There's no question of that. I think it may not quite be a 5. It might be like a 4.5. But I also loved the complexity of this. This is the epitome of like the book I need as an adult, as someone who grew up reading books about horses and books about unicorns and things like that. Reading a book about horses and unicorns, but like it's all slightly turned on its head and a lot darker. Absolutely my vibe. I loved it. Loved Reagan as a character. The end of this book's freaking broken me. I tricked myself into thinking maybe one of these books wouldn't hurt me. I was wrong. I just loved it. I'm very tired, sorry, I'm quite low energy. But I really, really, really enjoyed this. I really did. Yeah, I just can't wait for the next one. I don't know what the next one's going to be. I'm guessing it's going to be back at Eleanor's home, which is interesting because the last one kind of was. But he also saw a lot of mystical worlds. Yeah, I guess the last one technically was at Eleanor West's home for Wayward Children. So the next one will be back there, which is cool. I like seeing a bit more of that. Hopefully we'll get some of the core characters back, like Kane. I just want Kane back. Kane? I think it's Kane. My brain's gone. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I think I don't know what I'm rating it, but I really enjoyed it as much as I enjoy all these books in the series. This one, I think more so than others, I'm astonished was as short as it is. As in, like, it felt like I was reading so much. As like, I can't believe Sean Maguire crammed so much into so few pages, and yet it made it feel so complex and so deep. Just props to her for that. Very impressive. So yes, I'm done with this. I need to pick my next read. I'm not going to do Psalm for the Wild Book right now, partially because I don't want to look at a screen, I say, when I'm about to go put a movie on. I don't want to read on my iPad today. I don't know why. So it's going to be one of these 6. And basically, I don't know which one I want to read. I just don't know, and I don't know how to choose. So I have sent a photo to my mum and told her to pick one. And honestly, I might do that all week unless I suddenly have a really strong feeling. I might just send a picture to each of my friends and they will each get to pick my next read, because I'm going to read all of them as long as it goes to plan. So let's see if my mum's replied, see which one she's chosen. My mum is still debating. Also, can we appreciate that I messaged her like, do you want to choose my next read, without having sent her the photo yet? And she was like, I'm assuming I'm not allowed to choose XX. For anyone that doesn't know what this book is, I'm gonna go grab it. So this is a book I said I was gonna read for like 5 months in a row last year and never got past like a quarter of the way through. But just keep in mind, the whole point of this video is, let's see if I like novellas. This is what she wanted me to read. It's over 1,000 pages. So no, she's not allowed to choose XX, and we are now waiting on her to actually choose one of the 6 books that I have on my list to read. Okay, so my mum took her job very seriously and looked every single book up to decide which one. And her message to me says, I'm torn between Murderbot and the Empress Assault and Fortune. So I'm going to pick the Factory Witches of Lowell. I don't understand. I was leaning towards Murderbot or Empress Assault and Fortune as well. So we'll see. But I'm gonna go with what she said, and I'm gonna try the Factory Witches of Lowell, which was very kindly gifted to me by Kayla. I'll give it a go. I don't know too much about this one. I know it's historical fantasy about witches going on strike in the historical mill town of Lowell, Massachusetts, which gives me massive Once and Future Witches vibes, which I'm here for. And also actually feels really appropriate to start on International Women's Day, which it is today, so that does feel really good. And this is only 123 pages, so it's not very long, and there's not a lot on the page, honestly. So I'm going to try and read like the first chapter of this and check that it's what I'm feeling right now, because obviously trying to do this many books in a week, I cannot afford to slump. If I'm not feeling it, I might try Murderbot or something, but I'm thinking I'll probably get on with this one. So this is probably going to be my next read. I'm going to read a tiny bit now, and then I'm going to journal and watch a film. So I may not speak to you again tonight. I might give you first thoughts on this. We'll see, but I'm going to go give this a quick little go. Good decisions are being made. This is the correct way to spend my evening. I'm excited. Sorry, you can just see Western lighting behind me, but I'm so excited. This isn't the point of the Tor novella vlog, but I'm excited. I'm gonna journal now. I'll show you a bit of that. I'll catch up with you tomorrow when I've read some more. Hello, so it is Tuesday evening. It's like 7 p.m. I've just finished work for the day. I'm sitting where I sit for work with a pretty background for Zoom. And I'm about to pick up the Factory Witches of Lowell. I read 18 pages of this yesterday. I don't think I even read that much. I don't think it started on page 1. No, I read 10 pages of this yesterday because it started on page 7. I perfectly well enjoyed the first 10 pages. Not a lot happened because it was 10 pages. But I'm going to try and read the rest of this tonight. It's like 120. So 100 pages should definitely be doable. Not big pages, so should be fine. I'm just about to tune in because it's 2 minutes to 7 to Steph and Becca's Patreon live sprints. So I'm going to watch that and hope to get my reading done and make myself some dinner. I had garlic bread yesterday. I'm having garlic bread again today because I have another one and I want to eat it because it was so good. So I'm going to make a flat stink of garlic again, yay. But I'm going to go read. I don't know much else to do today. I would maybe like to watch a little bit of TV, but I'm not too bothered. I didn't manage to draw up my March pages yesterday, but I did pretty much get up to date on February's journal pages. So may try and do some more of that, but this is my big goal. I am nervous to continue this because when logging it on Goodreads as like currently reading, I saw the reviews. This has such low reviews. It's got like a 3 average and it had a lot of 1-star reviews. So I am nervous. I'm not above DNFing if I have to, but I'm going to try and be an objective. Like I enjoyed the first 10 pages before that. Maybe I'll love the whole thing, but I'm nervous. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm going to go turn the sprints on, get my food cooking, and go do that and talk to you later when I've read a bit. Okay, super quick update. I am on page 55. I'm enjoying it. I feel like for halfway through, I'm not feeling nearly as much substance as I would like, and like there's a lot of main characters and I couldn't identify any of them. So it's not loving it, not hating it, it's okay. But the reason I'm updating you is I completely forgot I need to edit a video tonight to go up tomorrow. So I'm gonna go do that and then we'll see if I can finish this. I read like 40 pages in 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So it's definitely a quick read. I can probably finish this in just like an hour. So I'm hoping if I can edit this video quickly, which hopefully I can, then I can come back to it. So I'm gonna go do that and then fingers crossed finish this video, finish this book and tell you about it tonight. Hopefully. Okay, so this is not a flattering angle, but I'm tired and can't be bothered to get back up. So I've been reading this, I got my video done. I have less than 20 pages left, like this tiny section, but I'm really tired and I'm nodding off and I want to go to sleep. And I'm already struggling to keep track of all the characters' art, so I'm gonna go to sleep and finish it tomorrow. I'm only carrying 20 pages over, so I'm not too worried about getting that done tomorrow. I am enjoying it. This one feels like a short story. Like I said with the Shauna Maguire, it felt like I was reading for so much more than 200 pages, like so much was happening in it. And yes, that was, I guess, like 180 pages. This is literally 100, so it is shorter. It's like half the length. But this reads like a short story. Like it feels like we've been introduced, got into the thick of it, done, and that's kind of it. I still really can't tell the characters apart. Like, I know one or two of the women have magic. Couldn't tell you which ones. I cannot figure it out for my life. They are all written so similarly. There's not been enough time to get to know them. I don't know. I'm just a bit confused overall. And yes, I'm trying to read it quite quickly. And yes, I'm quite tired, so I'm not like giving it everything I have. But I'm really confused. And I feel like I shouldn't be that confused. So yeah, that's my late night review. It's not even late, but I want to go to bed because it's late enough for me. So I'm going to go to sleep. I will update you tomorrow when I finish this and then pick out my next book. Hello, so it is Wednesday evening. We're going to go with Wednesday. I've just finished The Factory Witches of Lowell by C.S. Mallorik. It wasn't bad. It just didn't do much of anything for me. It was okay. It read like a short story. This didn't even feel like 100 pages. It felt even shorter to me. I wasn't invested. I think the biggest reason for that was the characters. All of the characters were kind of interesting. Could not tell them apart for my life. I got the whole way through this book and I think there was only one, maybe two characters I could pick out. So that was disappointing. I don't know what I'm going to rate this. It might be like a 3. It wasn't bad in any way. It just didn't really do very much. It was just like a little bit dull almost. I did have to go back when I picked it up to read the last 20 pages today. I went back like 10-15 pages because I think I was just a bit too tired last night. I didn't really remember it at all. So I did backtrack a bit. So it was okay. It felt very prescriptive. Nothing really surprised me. It was quite clever, the concept of how the magic was done, but nothing that special. I don't know, it didn't do anything that interesting. I do think it has a hard time because there is a book called The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow, which I'll put a cover up here because I can't bother to go get it, which was my favourite book, joint favourite book of 2020. I adored it and it's a very similar premise, although it's not women going on strike, it's women using witchcraft to fight for their rights, which is exactly what this is. And that, as I said, was one of my favourite books ever. It's phenomenal. And although it is much longer, it's 500 pages, which makes it, I guess, easier to get you invested. I think the thing that that one did very well, which this one really didn't, is considering it's a women's strike and like fighting for their rights and all of this, that one made me feel really empowered and like really like I cared, fought for them, fought with them. This I kind of just didn't care. I was like, yeah, I hope you win, but I wasn't invested in the characters enough, I wasn't invested in the story enough for it to like really impact me. So it was okay. It's probably like a 3. Wasn't bad, just wasn't great. Quite middle of the road, 3, seems right. So just for a very quick, I was gonna say update, but it's actually something I forgot to say about the Factory Witches. I might have cut this in back there. But I said in it that I didn't really invest in any of the characters and I couldn't really tell any of them apart. The most telling part of that for me is there is a female-female relationship in the book and I didn't care. When that happened, I was like, cool. This is me. If it's gay, I'm normally freaking out. And the fact that I just didn't really care when we had a gay relationship, I think that shows how I really wasn't invested in the characters. So yeah, just wanted to add that. So carrying on, plans for tonight. It is currently 5 minutes to 7. Becca is doing dice sprints starting at 7 with Cody from Cody's Book Corner for her Patreons. So I'm going to watch those, of course. Normally for dice sprints you're meant to have 2 books and switch between the 2. I don't want to do that because I feel like I'm going to confuse myself. So I have decided what I'm picking up next, and yes, I did choose. I was going to let people choose for me all week, but I really want to read this one now, so I've just decided I'm picking it up, and that is, ooh, brightness. Ooh, 1 minute. I'm not used to holding this up. It is A Psalm for the Wild Built. I'll put the cover here to make it look nicer. by Becky Chambers. This is actually my first Becky Chambers, but I've heard amazing... Is that better? No. But I've heard amazing things and I'm very excited. And I think this one's meant to be quite wholesome, which is the exact vibe I need right now. I've had not a bad day at work, but I have had a long day at work, so I'm very keen to just relax this evening. I have already like bathed and chilled. I don't have anything else that needs to be done. I don't know how long this one is. I can't imagine it's too long. I'd guess like 120. It's 160, so it's a little bit longer, which I don't mind, to be honest. I would like to read the whole thing tonight. We'll see how it goes, but that's my plan. Watch Sprints, read that. I have garlic bread and rosé again. I went and bought myself a bottle of rosé. First time ever buying myself a bottle of wine. I've always been a gin drinker, but the gins I have are quite sweet and I'm not really feeling lemonade at the moment. So wine, even though sweet wine, because I still like sweet things, is the move. So we've got some wine, got some garlic bread, gonna put that on, eat and enjoy that in the first like chatting bit, and then read my book. And that's pretty much the plan for the evening. I might watch some TV if I get a chance later. I finished watching High School Musical 3 whichever day it was, and so now I'm re-watching High School Musical, the series, which I'm very excited about because I loved that show. I re-watched the first episode last night whilst doing some video stuff because I've had a video that's just gone up. So I've done that. Might watch some more if I finish this book in time. So I'm gonna get on. I think the sprints are starting in 2 minutes, so I need to get tuned into those. But I will see you all later, I guess. Bye. I am watching Sprints with Becca and Cody. I have my wine, which you can see there. We'll see if I like it. It's just a random rosé because I didn't know what to buy, but it said sweet, so I went with that one. And my garlic bread is in the oven. I am excited. I also have my book, which I feel like is worth mentioning and I may have forgotten to mention. Focus. Book. Sprints. Wine. Garlic bread. Content me. Quick update for Psalm of the Wild Built, though. Psalm of the Wild Built? Psalm for the Wild Built? For the Wild Built. I am like 19-ish pages in. It doesn't have exact page numbers because it's an e-arc. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm not sure I fully follow it, but literally right on page 1, I'm just going to go back to it. Yeah, so right on page 1, it's talking about, this is literally the introduction, so I'm not spoiling anything. This is talking all about how the robots have been made and then basically decided to go out on their own and no longer be associated with humans, basically. And it was this quote just really got me. It just says, "All we have ever known is a life of human design, from our bodies to our work to the buildings we are housed in. We thank you for not keeping us here against our will, and we mean no disrespect to your offer, but it is our wish to leave your cities entirely so that we may observe that which has no design." What? I had never considered in all these years of watching films with robots and being interested in robots, how not only do we build them to emulate humans, very often with android-style robots, but obviously they are built to work to our social norms and our environments. Like, that makes sense. But I never considered this whole concept of if they became AI and had their own thoughts. We always would equate that to humans, not to their own kind of intelligence, because artificial intelligence will never be human intelligence, even if it was completely true intelligence. It may well be very different to how humans think and feel. And so, like, why should they be designed by our standards? Like, I don't know, that's just thrown me through a loop and it's got my brain going, and if it gets my brain going, then I love it. So I'm gonna keep reading. As I said, I'm like barely started. Oh, I've lost my place. And hopefully have a good time with it. I'm enjoying it so far, but I'm only, what percentage? 11% in. So I'm gonna get back to reading because we're in a short sprint at the moment, which is good because I would fall asleep in a longer one because I'm tired. But I'm gonna go do this and talk to you later. Hello, so it is 10 o'clock. I'm getting progressively more tired, and so this update is coming at you from me being slouched down on my sofa. I'm still watching Sprints. We've just started another sprint. I am on page 60 of 160 of Psalm for the Wild Built. I am loving it. Like, I am absolutely loving it. The writing is beautiful. I have found it a little bit slow to get into. I think partially because I'm a bit tired and because the writing is so beautiful and lyrical. It's like, oh, it's a lot to take in, but I'm getting into it now. I'm getting into the flow. We're getting a bit more kind of plot and characters coming through.
I was really confused at the beginning because we're following this character called Dex, and I know this has to do with robots, and I was like, is Dex a robot? Is Dex a person? This was never clarified. Dex is a person. I think you're just meant to assume that. I don't think that's ever stated. It's just obvious, and they're on the cover, so you know we've just met the robot. And I'm very excited because we've had about 4 lines of dialogue, and I'm obsessed with this robot. So I'm going to keep reading. 30 minutes on the clock. We'll see. I really want to get to page 100 tonight at the least. I would like to get a bit further. It's only 10 o'clock, and realistically I only need to sleep at like 11:30 to be alive for tomorrow. So I definitely still have some time. We'll see how I go though, because I am quite tired. Okay, back to reading.
Okay, so I kind of mentioned this earlier, but this book's going to give me an existential crisis. For anyone that doesn't know, I did engineering. I never studied AI, but I have, through reading things and articles and vaguely keeping up with tech over the years, I have some understanding of AI as a concept. More from a theoretical concept than things that have actually been developed, more of the kind of philosophical side of things, like what counts as actual intelligence, and when do we consider something like its own being, that kind of thing, just because I find it fascinating as a concept. I like that kind of psychological stuff. But this is throwing me through a loop because this is stuff I've never considered before, and I am in love. So this quote, I'll give it out of context, but it's interesting. This is a line the robot says. They just say, "I think like you do," which makes sense after all. Someone like you made us. How could I think any other way? I feel like this is getting to me in 2 ways. Number one, in terms of, as I said, the AI concept. We've always said, oh, they'll be their own being, they'll be their own thing when we finally develop a true AI. But will they ever? Because it was developed by humans, so they're going to be a humanoid AI. Is that true artificial intelligence, or is that just a human replica? I don't know. That's going to give me some thinking to do. But it's also got me thinking from a societal standpoint of, yes, in this they literally physically created these robots and ingrained them with like a code for how they think. One would assume, we've not seen that background, but assumptions. But it's big society parallels of basically raising people and growing up in society, of how are you expected to think any different when you're taught from day one to think a certain way. And it's such an interesting way of summing up that idea, which is so important, of indoctrination, both intentional and not, inherent biases you are taught. I'm still listening to the book Invisible Women, which I mentioned before. It's a non-fiction book about data bias, and how the world was designed for men. And there was a really interesting section in it about, what was it called? Brilliance bias. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. It is to do with genius. Basically, it is a concept that up to the age of 4, 5-ish, kids work on the assumption that men and women are equally brilliant and equally capable. And then as soon as they get into education systems and get into like society and start being aware of these kind of things, they inherently start to believe that men are more likely to be brilliant, men are more likely to be geniuses. It's at that point where if you do the standard experiment of asking someone to draw a scientist, that the bias heavily swings towards men instead of being quite an even split. So it's at a very specific age, and it is very well documented that at that point when people enter society and enter schools, and you know, bias systems which have existed for years and forever, that inherent bias gets put into people. And so it's just so fascinating, that phrase, someone like you made us, how could I think any other way? Ooh, I'm gonna love this book, aren't I? If this book gives me an existential crisis on a Wednesday evening, I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I'm gonna keep reading because I'm kind of loving it. Okay, this vlog is just gonna become solid updates for this book because I've literally read about a page more and I have something else to say. This one's just funny though, nothing existential. There's just a line from this robot, I'm obsessed. It's just said, hush, I can't multiply and talk at the same time. Why am I this robot? Oh my god. I don't know. You guys don't care this much. I need to start giving you line by line updates of this book, but that seriously tickled me. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna go back to actually reading now and try and read more than a page before telling you something about this book. I'm falling very much in love with this book though. So I've not read any of the Becky Chambers books, But I have heard people mention that like the Wayfarers series has quite good social commentary. I'm not going to get over the line I just read, but if you don't want to infringe upon my agency, let me have agency. So I won't obviously give full context because I'm like halfway through the book now. Update, I'm halfway through. But basically this is the principle of someone's offering to help with something, trying to help with something, and someone else won't let them because they feel bad. They're like, no, I can't let you do this, I can't let you do this. And just the similarities of this in society where marginalised groups, you know, fight for their right to make decisions about things, and then will try and make a decision and someone will try and come to their defense from a place of privilege. And it's like, if you keep saying you want us to be able to make these calls, so let us actually do it. Stop speaking for us. And it's simple things like, just I guess examples I've kind of experienced and more familiar with, being a woman. You will fight and fight and fight to have your say and do things. And for a simple example of like, women shouldn't have to like be in the kitchen cooking for everyone all the time. Simple freaking example. And yet then when a woman tries to like go cook because they enjoy it and they want to cook for people, everyone will start coming like, feminism, no, you don't have to do that. And it's like, we're fighting for the right to make the decision, not the right to never do it again. Like, what you're fighting for in that regard is the right that you don't have to cook for people. You're still allowed to want to do it and do it. And if you want to give people these rights, let them make their own decisions. And just, again, summing up this complex thing in about 10 words. And I'm not over it. I really want to stay up and finish this book, but it's 10:30, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to. But I'm going to keep reading and see where I get to because I'm loving this. Okay, super quick update because the sprint ends in just over a minute. I am 30 pages from the end of Psalm for the Wild Built, and I am so in love with this book. It's just gorgeous. Like, it's literally just two characters talking, and it's beautiful, and I'm absolutely adoring every single second of it, and I cannot wait to read the last 30 pages. I'll definitely read it before I go to bed. It's not that late at all, and I could probably read the last 30 pages in about 20 minutes. I'm finding it quite a quick read. Also, when I say 30 pages, I am guessing. The ebook has locations, and it has 1,645 locations, but the book's 160 pages long, so I'm literally just dividing it by 10 and taking that as page numbers, so I'm on like 135 out of 165 is roughly my guess. So I can read that in like just over 20 minutes. I'm definitely going to finish it tonight. I might tell you about it tomorrow. We'll see how tired I am and if I'm like dead in bed when I finish it. But just, it's so beautiful and I'm loving it so much. And it is truly making me want to read Becky Chambers' other books, which is a thing I've been meaning to do for a while. So not a bad thing that it might get me to do that. But it's just so beautiful. I love it. I just finished Psalm for the Wild Built. 5 stars. Brilliant. Loved it. I'd heard people say if you like The House in Cerulean Sea, you will like this book. Yes, strongly agree with that connection. It's got a very similar vibe. It's weird, I would say more adult. Cerulean Sea was very adult in its messaging, I think, in terms of othering and inclusion and all of that. I think it was really well done and handled in quite an adult way. But just due to the fact of your central cast of characters in Cerulean Sea being children, it felt more like the focus was more on the wholesome cute side of it than the kind of really philosophical side of it, I guess, which is not a criticism, like it's one of my favourite books, I love it. But this deals with that slightly more philosophical side of not the same issues, but the same vibe. I don't know how to describe it, but yes, I completely think if you've read House in the Cerulean Sea and liked it, that Psalm of the Wild Built is a book for you. I freaking love this book. I don't feel like I have too much more to say on top of the many updates I've already given. It's just beautiful and heartfelt and such good societal commentary, such an interesting idea about purpose versus existence and what actually matters. I just love it. It's gonna give me an existential crisis, but I love it. And I went to pre-order myself a physical copy so that I can have it. because I've highlighted and annotated in my iPad, but I'll want to transfer that over to a physical copy because I just want to have a physical copy. I can't pre-order it because it comes out on, I think in the UK, the 18th or 19th of July. I can't remember which. One secondo. 13th of July. Don't know where I got 18th from. In the UK, it comes out on the 13th of July. I will just check when it comes out in the US. Okay, same day in the US, 13th as well. I know it's the first in a series as well, which I'm super intrigued by what the rest of the series might be, because I wouldn't know from this, but can't wait nonetheless. I'll be intrigued to see if the sequel is a companion or a direct sequel. I'd be happy with either, honestly. But yeah, as I said, I wanted to order a physical copy for myself, but my contract for my flat ends in June. At this point, I am planning to renew if I can and stay put for another 6 months. But who knows? Things may have changed by July, so I can't pre-order anything for July at the moment because I don't know how I'll be living, so I can't pre-order it, but I'll order it closer to the time. But yeah, I love that book. That is what a Tor novella is in my head. They deal with deep issues in an incredibly short number of pages and yet hit you so much harder than even a full-length book would. So yeah, very much enjoyed that. Just had a very good time. As I said, gonna go have an existential crisis now. And I will catch you tomorrow when I'm picking up my next book. I've not decided what I'm reading next. I have 5 left to choose from, I think. Murderbot, Empress of Salt and Fortune, Black God's Drums. There's definitely 2 more. Silver in the Wood and Fireheart Tiger. Those are the other 2. So I've got those 5 left. I've got 4 more days. I'll try and get through all 5. I might only get through 4, but still, even doing 3, we're getting a pretty good picture if I generally like Tor novellas. But I'm running Patreon sprints tomorrow, so I'm going to let my patrons choose at the beginning of that which one I read, because I don't mind out of those 5 which one I read next, because I've read Psalm of the Wild Bill, which is the one I really wanted to read. So I'm going to go to bed now, because it's not too late actually. It's not even midnight, which is fine. I normally sleep around 12:30, 1, and I'm fine. So I'm going to go to bed now. But I will catch you tomorrow with the next book. I cannot get over how much I loved that. I just want to reread it. I can guarantee I will reread that at some point in the not too distant future, probably when I get the physical copy, because I can reread it in I only started it around 8 p.m, so I've read it in 4 hours with sprints on, so I was only reading parts of that, so it's definitely a quick read. I probably took about 3 hours total to read it, so I definitely reread it because I am very tired. I can just feel my eyes drooping and stuff, and so I feel like a lot of the beautiful language and details and intricacies of this I probably missed. So I would love to reread it and pick up on some of those. It's definitely a book that holds up on reread. It's not plot driven. If you're wanting plot, I wouldn't say it's for you. If you want characters and existentialism and psychology and evaluation of society and the human psyche, it's a book for you. Which is exactly the kind of thing I love, so I'm living. Oh, I love it so much. I'm gonna go harass Katie and tell her how much I loved it. Right, bedtime for me. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Hello, Maddie from the next day here, because I realised I never gave you a synopsis for Psalm of the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. I was about to say Becky Albertalli. Deary me, I'm tired. Becky Chambers. This is a story following Dex, who is a person and isn't really sure what they want to do with their life, but knows they want to change. So they become a travelling tea maker, basically. And this is in a world where there used to be robots, and humans have created these robots, and then the robots basically decided they wanted to go out on their own and no longer live in human society, and the humans agreed to this. So somewhere out there are robots. And so Dex is just getting on with their life and decides maybe they want another change. And then there's a robot, and I'm not going to say more than that because it's a short book. But it's really good, which I've already said multiple times in this video probably. But there's your quick synopsis, and it comes out in July, so do pick it up if you want to because it's brilliant. And still is giving me an existential crisis a day later when I'm filming this clip. Anyway, books for you to choose from. So, there are 5. I will hold them all up so that you guys can see them all, so you can remember your options. But please vote in the comments. Why can't I get these to line up nicely? There we go. Please vote. Yeah, there we go. Oh god, I'm trying to hold them and click on comments at the same time. Ooh, this is a recipe for disaster. There we go. Yeah, in case you couldn't guess what my video might be, I think I've just given it away. Okay, I've got 2 Fireheart Tigers, got an All Systems Red. Ooh, 3 Fireheart Tigers. Oh my god, 3 Fireheart Tigers. Tiger. Oh, that's a lot of. Oh no, okay, that's a lot of comments. Oh dear. I should have got some paper to do a tally. I didn't think this through. I really should have got some paper to write this down. So we've got Fireheart Tiger 3. Okay, we've got 4 Fireheart Tigers, 7 for All Systems Red. Okay, so Fireheart Tiger is out. I say I'm sad about it. I'd be sad about not reading any of these, hence why I'm reading them all this week. Oh my god, I did not come up with a good plan for doing this, did I? Okay, Silver and Wood's got 3. I mean, also, as I said, I'm reading all of these this week, and they'll all be in the same vlog, so, you know, I will read them all. It's just which one I'm doing tonight. Also, thank you for helping me out here. It's very needed. 6. So I think there's 6 for these 2, and then I think there's only been 3 for Black God's Drums. So that one's out. Right. If anyone can do a sense check for which one of these got more votes, and let me know. Chloe, you are honestly doing so much for me. 8. Okay, yeah, All Systems Red's definitely won. I think Murderbot won, so we're gonna go with that. Hello, so I haven't actually spoken to you yet today. It is Thursday evening. I'm currently on my Patreon live sprints, which you have probably already seen a little clip of, because I had them choose my next read. I gave them 5 options, which is all the ones I have left, which I will just grab is... There we go, all of these books. These are the 5 I still have left to read, hopefully by the end of the week, though it is Thursday, so we'll see. I'll get to all of them except one, definitely. It's just that I get to the 8th. I say definitely, hopefully. But I had them all vote on which one they wanted me to read, and it was pretty close between Empress, Salt and Fortune and Murderbot. But Murderbot did win, so that is my current read, which I've got a big greasy mark on the front of. Brilliant. So All Systems Red, which is the first book in the Murderbot Diaries, is my read for today. I'm currently 68 pages in. I am really enjoying it. I am intrigued to see where this book will go, because I know this is the first in quite a big series. And it's feeling like that. This feels like the start of like a 600-page book instead of one 150-page book, just by like how much world building there's been, though it's been done really well. Like, plot is definitely still happening at the same time. We're getting to know characters, getting to know plot, and also doing the world building, so it's definitely really well balanced in that way. Very much enjoying it, very intrigued to carry on. Pretty confident I can finish this tonight. It's only 8:30. I'm just cooking my dinner, which is about to beep. So I'm gonna eat in this sprint and then continue reading properly in the next one. But that's about all I have to say. I do have one other thing I want to say though, which is all about the concept of novellas and Tor as a publisher. To you, this will look like I just stopped mid-sentence, but to me it's even funnier. I said to the camera, there's something I want to discuss in general about Tor, and then the oven beeped. That was 3 hours ago. I just forgot to continue the clip. I just completely forgot. So before I update you on All Systems Red, which I've just finished, what I was going to say about Tor, Tor, I can't remember the exact catchphrase, like word for word, but basically they have like a catchphrase, which is stories at their correct length. So they do obviously novellas, and they also publish some longer books, they publish some that are in between. It's a whole variety. And I really love that ethos of stories at their correct length. Like, they don't care what length the books they publish are, as long as it's the correct length for the story. And I just have so much respect for that. And I think that's such a brilliant ethos. And that was pretty much all I wanted to say. I just really think it's really cool. And I wish more publishers worked on that kind of premise. Not even necessarily about length, but it's more just the story should be published in a way that fits the story, not the story should be published in a way that, you know, fits the publisher. Like, it just makes more sense. It's really cool. Anyway, I've lost it. Also lost my mind. I finished All Systems Red by Martha Wells. I'm giving this like a 4-star. I really enjoyed it. Took a while to get into. I think I mentioned like partway through it was really world buildy. I don't mind that. I really like world building, but it did take a minute to get through all the world building and get to kind of plot and stuff. But we're well into plot now, and oh my god, the ending of this book, I need to read the sequel. I am going to be ordering the sequel to this book like soon. Loved it, want to carry on. So yeah, overall massively enjoyed this. I don't think I've given a synopsis for this one because I didn't know a synopsis when I read it. Which also I didn't give a synopsis for Son of the Wild Built either. This is what I get for vlogging every evening when I'm tired. So synopsis for this one, and then I'll film a synopsis for Wild Built, which you'll have already seen because I'll cut it in. Synopsis for this. This follows a robot called Murderbot who is an android sort of human-like robot who is designed to kill people and things, and is basically hired out to different groups of people to do this, to work for them, to kill people. However, this murderbot may not necessarily be acting how they should, and they're more humanoid than they possibly should be in all of this. And it's just very interesting. It's very good sci-fi novella, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I don't read a lot of sci-fi, so massively here for this. Really want to continue the series. Brilliant. Not sure which one I'm reading next. Feel like I should carry on with the trend of letting people choose, so I'll probably message one of my friends tomorrow and ask them to choose which one's next. And I really don't mind. Honestly, I'm so excited for all of them. This week is reminding me why I love novellas so much, so I'm happy to read any of them. But that is it for this Thursday evening. I am now going to head to bed because I am tired, to say the least. So, yes. I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Hello, so we're actually doing a daytime update, which is weird. I'm actually starting to look at the camera because it is so bright outside. It's lovely. Obviously normally I can't do daytimes updates because work, but I am on my lunch break, my food is in the oven, and I have 5 minutes of the 15 minutes I had before I need to tune into a seminar, which I'm going to watch during lunch. So just quickly, I thought I'd tell you what I'm reading next. So I, yet again, let you guys decide. I put a photo up on Instagram and let you guys decide between the last 4 options, which were Black God's Drums, Fireheart Tiger, Silver in the Wood, and the Empress of Sultan Fortune. I'll put up the picture in the poll that I put up here with the results on it. So at the time of filming this, I'll put up the finished results on the screen. At the time of filming this, it's still got like 12 hours to stay up. But there is a very clear winner because Empress of Sultan Fortune is on 93 and then the other 3 books are on 23, 27 and 25, so very close. So Empress of Sultan Fortune has absolutely won, so this is going to be my next read. I'm very excited. It's only 100 pages, so should be 115, so should be absolutely fine to read this evening. I don't have much else I need to get done. I am going to do my first workout in a good long while. You are now allowed in the UK to meet up with one other person, socially distanced, of course, to work out. So because I've had no motivation recently, one of my friends who does a lot of exercise and lives very near me, I have messaged them and said, right, hold me to account. We're going to do a workout on Friday. So we're going to do that. We're just going to find probably like, I don't know, some outdoor space in the centre of Birmingham. We'll just walk around till we find something with masks on and just do like a quite low-key workout. I want to do high-intensity interval training and boxing, but I can't because I'm not meant to till 8 weeks after surgery. I doubt I will wait the full 8 weeks because I'm going out of my brain, but just do like some low-intensity workout so I can at least start doing something. So that will take up probably a couple hours this evening because I walk like 15 minutes to where we're meeting and then like half an hour, 40 minutes workout and 15 minutes back. So realistically, with getting ready time and getting back time, it'll take me a while. But yeah, gonna go do that. It should be good fun. And then read. That's all I've got to do this evening. If I can do some journaling, that's great. If I can do some video editing, great. I can do whatever I want. I'm gonna try and avoid doing any work this evening because it's a Friday, so I prefer not to, but we will see. But I will catch you all later when I am reading this and have some updates for you. I will just say I am really intrigued to see how these last books go because so far I've had a low 3-star, a mid 4-star, a high 4-star, and a 5-star. So like we've got a variety so far and I want to know where this experiment is going to end up. Hello, so I haven't read anything since I last spoke to you, but I'm just about to start this. I've just gone out, done my workout, come back, food is in the oven. I have jumped onto sprints with Steph and Jade, some Patreon sprints. They were doing them and I was watching and they were like, do you want to come on? I was like, yeah, why not? So I'm going to eat and then start this. Still hoping to get it done tonight. It is 9 o'clock, so I'm definitely starting later than I planned. And I'm now busier tomorrow than I anticipated. I definitely have a video that needs editing. I have a social event, shocking. Obviously, very much COVID secure. I'm just going for outdoor, socially distanced walk with one of my friends who lives in Birmingham, who I've not seen in probably almost 2 years. I hadn't seen them for quite a while before leaving uni, and then obviously pandemic. But they've been in Birmingham for months, and they didn't used to live in Birmingham, so it's been frustrating to not be able to see them. But I now can. I'm still generally not doing everything that's allowed with COVID rules. I'm just being quite cautious. But one socially distanced masked walk is, I feel like, acceptable. I'd like to see somebody. I've been very much in my flat on my own for the past 2.5 weeks, so it would be nice. But that does leave me with a lot less time tomorrow than I expected. And I was planning to read a whole 2 books tomorrow. So we will see how that goes. Fingers crossed I can do it, but we'll see. But you don't need to know any of this for now. Goal for the night is to read all of this. It's 120 pages, so it should be fine. But I will speak to you when I've actually read something, which is what I said last time and I still haven't, so we'll see. Hello, so it's pretty late. It's 1 a.m. I just finished Empress, Salt and Fortune, which I did not think I would be saying tonight. I was, heard my knee click. I really didn't think I was gonna get through this tonight. I was flagging about an hour ago with only 30 pages left, and I was like, I'm gonna just stop. I don't want to waste the ending. But then I woke up a little bit, still on sprints with Jade and Steph, and decided to finish this. So I've just finished it. I'm struggling to know what to rate it because the last 30 pages I just read I really, really liked. And the writing throughout is really like interesting and it's a really interesting story. But I feel like because I'm absolutely exhausted, I definitely missed quite a lot of this. Like I did not fully understand it for sure. I was definitely missing kind of quite big chunks of it, which is frustrating, but it happens. I don't think I realised how tired I was this evening until I literally started nodding off, but I think my brain's been a bit all over the place. Like there were a lot of moments where I would notice I was thinking about something completely unrelated and not actually really reading. So I think I did that quite a lot through the beginning. This is definitely one, no question, I would reread. I'm actually very tempted if I can squeeze it in to reread it tomorrow, because rereading the first 100 pages would take about 2 hours, an hour and a half actually, less than that, because I just read the last 30 pages in 20 minutes. So I could probably read the first 100 in like an hour and a half or less. So if I have the time, I would really like to reread this kind of straight away, because I would probably rate this like a 4, maybe a 3.5, just because I didn't find it particularly impactful. Like it was good. Yeah, no, 3.5 is too low. I think it'd be a 4. But I have a feeling that if I hadn't missed bits, it'd be a lot higher. So I might try and give it another go tomorrow, which sounds ridiculous, but you know, we're here. I yet again haven't given a synopsis for this one. This is a book following a woman called Rabbit, and some like chroniclers have visited her, and she worked with and was a handmaiden to the Empress, and they're kind of trying to get a feel for like, I guess, the Empress's life story, and all the bits that aren't noted. I think it's, as I said, my tiredness is not helping, I will admit, but it is definitely also written in a really strange way. There are sentences which, not just a tiredness, like didn't make sense, weird verb usage, weird tense, and it just felt odd. It read oddly, but I think I actually quite liked it. It's just a lot to process when you're tired. So that's kind of where I'm at with this one. I'm gonna see if I can squeeze in rereading it, although that sounds ridiculous. And that's also not ideal because I still have 3 books left to try and read before the end of the week, and time is running out. I was going to say I could continue these over to Monday and Tuesday and then put the vlog up on Wednesday, but I won't be able to edit it because I'll be at work. I need to edit it on Sunday. So I really do need to do this week, which is fine. I don't know which one of these I'm reading next. We have Silver in the Wood, Fireheart Tiger, and The Black God's Drams left. In 5 minutes, when this sprint is over, I'm going to make Steph and Jade choose which one they want me to read, because I'm too tired to make decisions right now, but I want one for tomorrow. As I already mentioned, I don't know how much time I'm going to have tomorrow, and I would love to get through 2 of these. So we will see how that goes. Sorry, I'm really fidgety tonight. We'll see how that goes. Basically, I've read 5 books this week, and I cannot complain at that. I would love to get to 6 or 7 or 8. But if I don't get through all of them, it's not the end of the world. But I'm also quite determined in definitely not giving up yet. So that's your update. There'll be a clip next of Steph and Jade hopefully choosing my next read, though I have a slight suspicion they're going to be horrifically indecisive. We will see. Yeah, that's the update for now. It's going well. This vlog is going to be hilariously long because I've done a lot of 5-minute updates. So I'm terrified. Apologies. It's going to be a very long vlog, but you know, why not? I will see you all in 4 minutes, and then on the next read tomorrow, I guess. Hello, so it is Saturday afternoon. I've just got back from the social event, which I think I mentioned in the previous clip that I was going to be doing, or like a previous clip. It was really nice to chat to someone, just literally walked around Birmingham for 2 hours, had a chat. It was really nice. Still very odd seeing people in person. It's gonna take a while to get my head back around that. But I am now back. I have 3 hours to kill before the FAES and Gaze live, so I'm kind of gonna see if I can get Fireheart Tiger read. This is the one that Steph and Jade picked for me yesterday, and it's literally 99 pages. So I don't see any reason I shouldn't be able to do this. I'm going to try and have some like lunch and dinner as well, because I've not really eaten so far today because I'm unorganised. I have edited a whole video already though and got that up and ready to go. I did it way quicker than I thought. I started editing at 10, knowing I had to go out at about 1:45 and I need to get ready to go out as well. And really thought I wasn't going to get it done in time. I thought there was no way I was going to be able to do it in less than like 4 or 5 hours because it was a big video. Somehow got the core editing done in like under 2 hours, and then upload and thumbnail and stuff were all running whilst I was getting ready, and then I could just do final bits before I went out. So that's all scheduled for 6, which is great. You can watch it here. You can watch it there, sorry. It's my getting back into Bookstagram video. But yeah, so I have 3 hours. All I need to do is eat and read and try not to fall asleep. But if I do, I might just nap. We'll see. I'm quite tired. I didn't stay up too late last night, but the sprints went until about 1, 12:30 maybe. Then I chatted to Steph and Jade for a little bit, and then it always takes me about an hour to actually go to bed. So it's about 2, 2:30 by the time I was actually going to sleep. And my alarms were set for 9, which hurt me, but you know, it's all right. So yeah, it's been a very productive day so far. I'm impressed with the amount I've got through, and I'm gonna read this before FAES and Gaze, and I'm really not in the mood to film or edit anymore today. So then I'm probably going to try and read one of these two after FAES and Gaze, because kind of why not? I think that's the plan. And then the other one I can read tomorrow morning on sprints, and then film, and hopefully I can get through all of them. I mean, we'll see how it goes, but it's looking good. I also really want to get my first Patreon bookmark fully designed this weekend if I can, because I need to get those printed soon. Technically, there shouldn't be a Patreon bookmark in March, because the way Patreon works is you pay on the 1st of each month. So anyone that has signed up since I created my Patreon won't pay until the 1st of April. So realistically, the rewards should be the first ones in April, but I want to do a trial run of getting them printed and getting them shipped and kind of get a feel for how long it takes me in the month where like technically they wouldn't have to happen anyway. So I won't feel bad if they're a little bit late. So I'm going to try and do that. I might try and find an audiobook to listen to whilst I'm packing them all and stuff, because that's going to take a while, but that's a next weekend job for sure. I don't know what I was really going to say, but yes, I want to get that design finished so I can send that off for printing, so that hopefully the bookmarks can be with me next weekend, ready to be packaged, so I can ship them at the end of next weekend. Hopefully. I think that's the goal. So yeah, goal for the rest of the weekend. 3 books, one of which I'll do now, one later, one tomorrow. Film a couple videos, edit 3 or 4, edit 2 at least, hopefully more, and then Patreon bookmarks. I think that's it for goals for the weekend. Nice, I'm excited. Hopefully I can get through it all without falling asleep, because I am feeling so tired today, to say the least. Not enough sleep after a very long week, but it's fine. I'll get a good night's sleep tonight. I don't have any sprints today, and I do have an early start tomorrow, so I'm going to try and get a really early night after the FAES and Gaze live, if I can. Hello, I'm sitting down to film an update. Many hours later. It is 9:15. I've not read anything. I've read 10 pages. I read 10 pages of this before FAES and Gaze, and then I had a 2-hour-long nap. I could not keep my eyes open. I was like, I'm not going to understand it if I'm this tired. Just sleep. So I slept and then did FAES and Gaze, and then we ended up having like an 1.5-hour chat after the live ended, and then I just like dissolved into the sofa and did nothing. But I'm now doing things. I'm cooking my food, which was a thing I needed to do. So that's happening, and then I'm going to read. I will still get this done tonight, I think. I think it's like a 2-hour read, and I don't need to sleep before midnight, so that should be fine. I would have really liked to have done another one as well, depending on how I'm feeling. I may try and start one of these, because kind of why not? I don't think I have much else that needs doing today. But yes, frustrated that I've wasted the whole afternoon. But, you know, it is what it is. Some days you're just too dead to do anything, and that was today. So, gonna have to be extremely efficient tomorrow to get everything done. But fingers crossed. But for now, I'm gonna go eat, I'm gonna read, and I promise you I will not update you again until I have a reading update. I swear I will have actually read something next time. Hello, you can see the absolute bomb site of my desk in the background. I do apologise, but it is Sunday. I'm squinting 'cause it's so bright outside, but it's really nice. So I'm on my Sunday sprints with Jade currently. Becca and Steph I think will be joining a bit later, but I just finished Fireheart Tiger. This took like probably about 90 minutes. No, not even 90 minutes, like 70 minutes to read total. It's definitely quick. I really enjoyed this. I'm not sure what to rate it. Like, definitely a 4. I don't think it's high. Yeah, no, I think it's 4. It's definitely not lower. And I don't think it'd be quite a 5. But I really enjoyed this. I'm astonished in such a short book at how invested in the characters I felt, and especially in the relationships. Definitely, like, there's some really interesting sapphic relationships in this. Absolutely loved that. Just truly interesting. I really, really enjoyed this one. Quick overview. This follows, it's hard to explain, a girl who has been like sent basically for political reasons to other countries, other areas, when she was really young, and now she is kind of still trying to live up to her mother's expectations, as all sort of like royals, political kind of hierarchies, and comes back into contact with someone she met when she was sent away, who she's like fallen in love with, and then it's like political alliances, marriages, stuff like that. It's kind of hard to explain, but I really, really enjoyed it. Very interesting. Would recommend this one. I know some people haven't enjoyed it, but I really liked it. Yeah, really enjoyed this one. And I asked in my sprints which book I should read next, and I then ignored what people said, so I'm going to read The Black God's Drums. I will be reading this one and Silver in the Woods today. It's currently almost 12, so this one's 120 pages maybe? 110 pages. So I can probably read this in the next 3 sprints, because I will probably eat in one of them, though I will try and read whilst it's cooking. I might try and do that actually in the next sprints. I'm getting quite peckish because I only had a really small breakfast. So gonna get straight onto this now. I'm really intrigued by this one. I think this is slightly more urban fantasy dystopia, which is a really different vibe to most of the other ones I've read, which I'm really here for. I like how varied these are. I've had some high fantasy, there's been some portal fantasy, trying to remember what I've read. We've had sci-fi, we're now having like an urban fantasy dystopia sci-fi one, and then we've got like a gothic fantasy to end on. So definitely a lot of variety this week, which is really cool. So I'm gonna get started on this in the last 5 minutes of this sprint, and then try and get it done as quick as I can over the next couple of sprints. Fingers crossed, but I'm still confident I can get these all done today, which is really cool. It'd be really nice to have a huge reading day. But fingers crossed I like this one. Hello, update time. I just finished The Black God's Drums. I don't know what I think of this one. The one thing I will say, this isn't a criticism, this is on me. I really struggled reading it due to the dialect used throughout. It's set in New Orleans, and I think the 1800s, this book. I seem to remember saying the 1800s near the beginning. And so there's a lot of Creole being used, and also just like some dialect which is common in New Orleans at the time, which I am therefore horrifically unfamiliar with, and it did make it a very hard reading experience. The dialogue itself used this, which I didn't find too difficult. It was very phonetically written, so that wasn't too bad. The reason I struggled is a lot of the grammar throughout the narrative sections of the book were also not what would be used nowadays, so it made it very difficult to read for me. I am also quite tired though, which probably didn't help. But I think my actual criticism, because that's not a criticism, it's just a comment, I guess. My criticism is I don't know what happened in this book. This book needed to be twice the length. I was understanding it up until like halfway, a bit further than, and then I have no idea what happened. I don't know how I got so lost, but I just have absolutely no clue what happened in it. I feel like it just jumped through the plot so fast, and there was like this big dramatic fight scene going on, and I suddenly was like, I don't know why or what they're fighting. I don't actually understand it at all. It's one that could probably serve a reread at some point, and maybe I'd get it on a second read, but I certainly didn't on a first, which is definitely not what you want in a book. So I don't know what I'm going to rate this, I don't know how I'm going to rate this, but it's definitely not a new favourite. But anyway, I'm not gonna spend too much time chatting because I still have another book to read today, and it's 7:30? It's 5:30. And I still need to read Silver in the Wood, which is 105 pages, so that shouldn't take me too long. And there's 30 minutes left of this sprint, so I'm definitely going to try and get like the first 20-30 pages of this done. Hopefully I can get this done today. I need to get this done, I need to film a video, and I need to edit this video and one other, so I've still got a hell of a lot to do today. And I also need to like pack for going away for work and all of those glorious things. So there is definitely a lot that needs doing. So hopefully I can get through this, but fingers crossed. Also apologies, I realised this camera hasn't moved like the last 10 clips. It's literally just because it's set up and I'm sat on the sofa sprinting, so I'm like, may as well keep filming here. Also, my flat doesn't have very many places to sit and film. It's a one-bedroom flat. It's pretty small. But anyway, that's not relevant. I will update you when I have read a chunk of Silver in the Woods by Emily Tesh. Hello! So, after a fairly mammoth day of reading, I have officially finished all 8 books which I wanted to read for this video. Can't quite believe I read 8 books this week. Yes, they're small. I'm still impressed. So I'll quickly do thoughts on Silver in the Wood and then we'll do a wrap-up, I guess, as we're at the end of this whole experiment. I really enjoyed this one. It wasn't quite a 5-star, like it didn't give me that 5-star feeling, but I really, really, really liked it. I loved the writing style. I loved the tone. Really liked the characters, really want to read the sequel to this one, just generally massively enjoyed it. Quick plot, this follows a man who basically lives in the woods and kind of owns the woods, it's like their caretaker, and another man who basically buys the property. And they kind of become friends and magical going-ons and it's just good fun. Really enjoyed this one, really well done. This is like, I feel like gold standard novella. As I said, it's still not quite a 5-star, but this is like how a novella should be. Enough world building, enough going on, but fully understandable, gives you everything you need to know. Brilliant, loved it. So, with that, I guess let's wrap up the week. So, for anyone that doesn't remember, just gonna quickly go through the books I read. I read Across the Green Grass Fields by Shauna Maguire. I read The Factory Witches of Lowell by C.S. Mallorik. I then read A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers, which I read on my iPad. Then I read All Systems Red by Martha Wells. Then The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Guy Vaux. Then The Fireheart Tiger, or just Fireheart Tiger by Aliette de Bodard. Then The Black God's Drums by PJ Lee Clark. And Silver in the Wood by Emily Tesh to round out the week. So big old week of reading. But have I answered the question, do I like Tor novellas? Overall, yes. Just to give some proportion, let me quickly organise. Actually, I'm gonna rank them. Let's do that. Let's rank them. Okay, we are ranked. So my favourite one, and the only 5-star, which I don't even have, is Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. We then have 4 4-stars, which is pretty good, ranging from like a really high 4 to like mid 4, which are these 4, so Murderbot, All Systems Red, Fireheart Tiger, Silver in the Woods, and Across Green Grass Fields. Then we have Empress of Salt and Fortune, which I think is probably going to scrape into a 4, but could possibly drop to just about a 3. I'm still slightly undecided on that one, and I'm still definitely planning to reread this in the very near future and reassess it. So even if I did give this like a 3.5 now, I think there's a very good chance of going back up. And then for 3.5, we have The Black God's Drums, and then like a low 3, possibly even a 2.5, Factory Witches of Lowell. So that's a ranking. So proportionally, not bad. A 5-star, 4 really solid 4-stars, and then a 3, which were like not as much up my alley, though one of them I think was on me, not the book. And honestly, Black God's Drums I think was slightly on me as well. I'm very tired, so it was very hard to read and understand something that's not quite obvious. So I would say as an overall, yeah, I like Tor novellas. I can pretty confidently, assuming it's a, premise I'm interested in, I feel like I could pretty confidently pick one up and be quite confident in the fact I'll probably at least enjoy it even if I don't love it. But I feel like 4 stars are very solid. A couple that I'm not gonna like, that's always the case. It's always the way with these things. But overall, I'm really happy and bloody thrilled I read so much this week. So I don't feel like I have too much else to comment on. I guess the one thing I will say, which I hadn't really assessed before this week, but have been thinking about a lot whilst reading all of these this week, is does a book suit the novella format? And as I mentioned already in this video, Tor have this really cool thing of stories at their right length, and they don't publish books of a specific length, they publish books of all lengths, just whatever fits the story best. I don't necessarily agree that all of these books worked best as novellas. Psalm for the Wild Built absolutely did. Across Green Grass Fields, of course, we know Shauna Maguire's good at that. Silver in the Wood worked brilliantly. Fireheart Tiger worked brilliantly. Murderbot, I kind of question if it's a novella. I think it's one long book. Well, I haven't read the sequel, so I can't say this for certain, but at this point it feels like one long book that's been split into lots of short chapters almost. So I may be wrong, But this felt like the prequel to a big series, not like its own standalone book, so slightly more debatable. Empress of Salt and Fortune, I think, would work as a novella if I was awake when I was reading it. This needed to be longer. No question, this needed to be longer. This is really short though, this is like 110 pages. If this was like 150, I think it would have been brilliant. So still novella, just a bit more explanation. And then, I don't really have thoughts on this. It worked fine, it just read like a short story, it didn't do anything special nor interesting really. So, I love novellas as a format. Tor novellas do very well for me in general. Generally, I think most of these stories did suit the novella style well, though a few lacked a little bit of detail I would have appreciated. But I think that is it for the video with my lovely, pretty stack. Let me try and make these look nice, of books I read this week. I think that about sums it up. I'm not gonna lie, it's been really fun reading all of these because obviously they are shorter, they're quicker to get through. But I don't think I've ever had a week where I've had 8 different stories, and that's been really fun. Obviously each one has been short, but normally obviously I only get through 2 books a week, so you only ingest 2 stories a week. Having all 8 has been really good fun, and I've had an absolute whale of a time doing it. So glad I did this experiment, it's been very interesting. Reaffirmed my love for novellas. So yeah, I would recommend pretty much all of these, honestly. Maybe not Factory Witches. I would recommend all the rest. I had struggles with Black God's Drums that most people I don't think would, so I would still recommend it even though it wasn't my favourite. But yeah, overall, a very solid reading week, and I had a whale of a time doing it. And thank you again, of course, to Tor for sending me Sound for the Wild build, as that was my favourite book of the week. And one of my favourites so far this year, and I cannot wait to reread it. It was just beautiful. I loved it so much. But that is it for the video. So if you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and comment down below. Do you like novellas? Have you read novellas? Are you going to try picking up any of these? Let me know. Subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me. Links to all of my other social medias as well as read-alongs and book clubs I host are down below, along with my wishlist and Patreon if you want to check out any of those. But that is it for the video, so bye, and I'll see you in the next one.